Hi everyone, my name is Boredom, and I am currently showing you guys a new build that I have somewhat found in Diablo 4. It's one that, to be fair, I haven't really been looking at a lot of builds, but I do know that Barbarian Whirlwind is pretty much the dominant force at the moment, and I thought, just for the health of the game and it coming out very soon, I'm recording this literally an hour before the gates are open and everyone is able to play. I thought it'd be a good idea, just kind of like unleash another build that I have found to be at least fun to play. The damage is comparable to Whirlwind, if not actually slightly more, once I've gotten used to this build. So basically, we're going to be just going over the gist of how it works in the beginning, and then I'll show you guys, the down and grits of, the perks, and then also I'll give advice on what I think will probably be good in Paragon, as obviously I'm only level 53 and a half, so I don't have that much in Paragon, but I will explain what I think is good as well as Mastery. We're going to probably explain that a little bit before that, so I'll probably second actually. But anyways, let's just get into it. So basically, you're going to be using these 6 abilities. You're going to be using Iron Skin, Rallying Cry, Death Blow, Iron Maelstrom, Frenzy, and Upheaval. Now, Iron Skin is going to be your only defensive, which means you're going to want to max it out, and if you can get additional ranks of this, it is phenomenal because you can get it up to about 80% if you can find a +2 rank for it. Now, obviously, you're going to want to get the perk that allows you to get healing back from the berry, because if you have it up a bunch, it's very good. Second off, you're going to have Rallying Cry. You're going to want to have the modifiers that let you be unstoppable, but also have increased generation and fury. Now, third off, you're going to want to begin Death Blow. Death Blow is going to be pretty straightforward. It's a final kill shot. It's helpful for doing damage to bosses, especially when you're trying to clear out really annoying things like ballistas on the one boss that spawns a bunch, or if the boss spawns a bunch of walls, you can chain this ability off of it and hit the boss with this as well and just do huge amounts of damage to them if you can hit it off. And if you do damage enemies with this, with the modifiers, you will be also getting Berserker, so you're just also getting Berserker on top of this. Now, and then Iron Maelstrom, you're going to take that just so you can be getting a bit better room clear, because obviously this build is much more oriented towards cone damage, as you can see in a minute, because Death Blow and also Upheaval are very cone damage like. Now, Iron Maelstrom, if you know how it works, basically first you do 2 attacks that are basically in front of you, and a third attack that you're just hitting everything within basically what you can see. Now, the nice thing is that with this whole build, you're going to be swapping between each of your attacks, so you're not just pressing one button, you're going to actually be using more than one. If I'm being honest, you might not want to have Frenzy on your right click just because you're going to be using it a lot. You might want to have a different button. I don't know what you want to do about that, but you may get carpal tunnel playing this build. I'm just giving you that fair warning. Now, with Iron Maelstrom, you're going to be obviously taking the perks that give you increased crit chance as well as crit damage, but also you're going to be taking the ability that every time you swap a weapon, you're getting the cooldown down by 1 second. Now, for your basic attacks, which obviously this is going to be much more relevant if you're starting out the game, you're going to be taking Frenzy. Now, you're going to be wanting to take the Frenzy that grants you increased attack speed while also giving you more Fury, but also whenever you're berserking, you gain attack speed on every other ability. And finally, you're going to be getting Upheaval, and Upheaval is just a big old cone attack, and it has a 20% chance to just stun everything you just hit, or at least it will stun about a fifth, maybe sometimes more, but it averages out to about a fifth of the time you will be just stunning everything you hit. Now, the other thing you want is that every time you attack something, you gain a stack for Upheaval if you're not using it, and it stacks up to 10 times. The nice thing is that Frenzy and Upheaval work very synchronously, and so basically, once you get Frenzy going, you are basically getting Upheaval to its maximum stacks within 5 attacks, which is incredibly nice because that means every 5th time you are just swapping between these 2 abilities and bringing Iron Maelstrom just that much quicker off its cooldown, and also using Death Blow intermittently, because if you look, you can see that I'm using dual wield for frenzy, my slicing weapon for the upheaval, which if doesn't make sense because it sounds like it would make sense because it's a cone attack, you're slamming dirt into the ground, but they let you, so we do it. Why not? And then you're going to be using death blow. You're going to be using the bludgeoning. I'll explain why a little bit later, but just know that you will be using that. Okay, now let's go into a bit more of the nitty gritty about the perks. So obviously I explained a lot of these things, but we're going to be talking more about just the random perks you're going to be taking. Now, the first thing you're going to be wanting taking swiftness, because guess what? You are a barbarian. You are susceptible to a lot of CC. The unstoppable is nice, however, it's not always going to be up, which means you're going to want to have that speed to be able to get out of sticky situations just in case. Now, besides that, you're going to be taking heavy-handed because, like I said, your 2 big damage dealers, actually 3 damage dealers, your death blow, your iron maelstrom, the first part of it and the final part of it, no, the first and second part, my bad, are going to be both using your 2-handers, which means those first 2 attacks are going to be doing more damage, but then also your upheaval, which uses a double hand. So your 2 big damage dealers, your death blow and your upheaval, are going to be affected by this, and so you get increased crit chance and crit damage on top of the iron maelstrom getting that additional crit strike damage. Now you're also going to be wanting to take duelist for the attack speed for your one-handed weapons, as well as you're going to be wanting to taking walking arsenal, because as I said, you're going to be swapping weapons around a lot for iron maelstrom. It just makes sense because you're going to typically have at least 2 of these up at all times, giving you 20% increased damage. And guess what? If you have all 3, if you just start using iron maelstrom, which starts off with one of the weapons you're probably not going to be using, you're going to have all 3 damage types, which gives you an additional 15% on top of the 30% you already have stacked on top of each other. Now that's all nice and dandy. You're going to see that the damage is pretty nice, and obviously we don't know everything about all the perks. We don't know everything about all the items, what they can have on them, so obviously if stuff changes, I will be doing an updated video on this. Now for Paragon, it's going to be a little wonky, but you're going to probably be taken up to this side. You're going to be taking the one-handed damage increase simply because you're going to be using Frenzy a lot. It's just nice to be doing a little bit more damage on that Frenzy because otherwise you're not really hitting that hard with the Frenzy. Obviously you're going to want to max out. Now this is the ambidextrous. You're going to be want to taking all the way over to this strength. You're going to be want to taking all this strength, and then you're going to want to come up to this iron strength. Get the willpower to max it out, just so you're also getting the plus 200 armor, but you're going to also want that because of the 10 strength here and the 10 strength over here. You're going to want you're going to want to max out your dexterity for 160 just so you get the 20% physical instead of the 10%, and then you're going to probably want to climb up this side of it just because this side has dexterity and strength, meanwhile this side has willpower, intelligence, and physical damage, which is much nicer. And you're going to obviously finish out up here, and you're going to take this over here. Now obviously we don't know anything about this just yet. I might be doing a part 2 once we find out like how the full Paragon works, but this is just kind of the idea behind it. Now finally is the expertise. If you'd noticed, I'm kind of taking a little bit long on each of this. It's just so that if you are trying to, go back through the video and look at certain things, you can see I'm hovering over a lot of things very long. I just want to show you guys so it's not like you're trying to click on it for like 1 second because I'm only hovering over for a second. Now you're going to be taking the one-hand sword expertise just because you're going to be gaining fury a lot more. And there are certain perks which allow you to gain shields, allows you to gain fortitude, allows you to gain more damage if you have more rage built up, which is just overall nice. Now obviously I'm not going to have perfect legendaries at this moment. As you can see, I have 3 yellows right now, which is not optimal as one of my yellows is a 2-handed, but they are all sacred as you can see because of the 5 upgrades, which means they are pretty much the best I can get at this exact moment. Now we're going to you're going to always want to have this ability, the imprint from this, which is you get this from the main quest line, and it is the bubble that you get if you're not healthy. You get the immunity. It's very nice. Over here you have the increased armor. It's always nice to just have this going because you're going to be constantly attacking and have these very quick attacks from Frenzy, huge amounts of hitting targets from Iron Maelstrom. You're going to be able to stack up to 100% on this very quickly. So it's just nice to have it, and obviously you're going to want Barrier Generation just to give your Iron Skin just a little bit more kick to it. So obviously on the gems up here, you're going to be want to taking white. Over here, you're going to be taking the skulls just so that you have a little more armor. And additionally, on any of your weapons, you're going to want to be taking white gems as well, just to increase the ultimate damage so your Iron Maelstrom has much more clear potential. Now, as you can hear, we're kind of chilling in here, but I will finish off the legendaries first just before we go in there. Next, you can see that if you hit someone with the core ability, which is this, which you're going to be hitting a lot of people with it, you can extend the duration of berserking. So if you remember, this can grant berserking if you hit at least one enemy. So you're going to be doing death blow and then upheaval right afterwards. So you're probably going to be doing frenzy, get it up to 9 or 10 upheaval, do a death blow on something, reset the cooldown, then doing upheaval, just so you're getting a nice big amount of damage and also increasing the duration of your berserking. And also, the increased chance, you're going to be mainly wanting to go for crit chance if you have the chance, because a lot of the stuff is very crit based, so it's just nice to be going crit. There's not a lot of stuff for overpower. This is a much harder legendary to find. It's very random. It's something I snagged off a legendary from much earlier, but there is a legendary that allows you to gain health for close-up enemies, which is very nice for Barbarian because it means you're not thinking about your health as much, and also it's giving your Iron Skin a little bit of breathing room because it's not always going to be up and you might not always have it going. Obviously, as you can see, I kind of have this legendary stacked out twice, only because it is incredibly nice. I always want to have it going. Next, we're going to have Weapon Mastery Skills. Weapon Mastery Skills is this one, the Death Blow. We have it because the Death Blow has a nice big range, but if you accidentally don't kill them, it's nice to be able to stun them because then you can hit them with the second charge, because Death Blow normally only has one, but if you have the 2 charges, this is nice to have. If you do not have this, if you don't have obviously the second charge, I would not recommend taking this whatsoever. There's no point to it. In fact, I would almost avoid using unless you have that. The shouts, it's nice because you do have a shout. It's always nice to just have extra generation going on. This dodge chance is also incredibly nice. As you can see, it increases your dodge chance for overtime effects. And whenever you dodge, you just gain primary resource. So you're primarily not going to go and do anything like thorns. You're going to be more wanting to focus on dodge chance, just so you're not getting hit by things. Obviously, that means you're going to have to be focusing a lot more on ground effects, and you're going to be making sure you're not standing in poisons, not standing in stuff that's going to kill you. Obviously, it's not ideal for lasers and stuff, but for any abilities that basically you can dodge, they're coming at you, it's really nice because you are now gaining more increased dodge chance if they have overtime effects on them. Kind of like the bleeds, especially from the Iron Maelstrom. Once you proc that, everything around you is going to have a overtime effect on it, and you're going to be able to have just that little bit more dodge chance. Now, finally, this is the one I was talking about where I was saying where you have your rage up a bunch. The skills increase in damage the more rage you have up, so obviously you're going to want to be using your upheaval last on any rotation, because out of everything you have, upheaval is the only one that costs fury, and every other one usually generates fury, which means you want to be maxing out your fury, and whenever you use your upheaval max sticks, you want to make sure your fury is at max so that that damage is possibly maxed out, and always you want to have this specifically on a two-handed so that whenever, because normally this would just be 12, it would be 16 I believe if it's on like a ring or amulet, but I don't know if you even can put it on an amulet, but if you can, it would be 16 since it's a 50% increase. But I'm just saying you typically want to have this on a two-handed just so you're getting the maximum output for that. Now that's pretty much it for the overall, just getting giving you the gist of like how the build works. Basically, like you are frenzying, then you're death blowing. Obviously, if you can kill stuff with death blow, it's phenomenal. If not, then you're using upheaval to just wipe them out. Typically, you want to be killing things with death blow, so it's a little wonky with which order. It's kind of however which order you want to be using things, which is really nice. There's no particular order. You just want to be making sure that your death blow is killing things, finishing them off, or if you're on a boss, just using death blow pretty much on cooldown, unless if they spawn mobs. Then you're trying to maneuver around the enemy boss, maneuvering them so that either their walls are in between you and them, and you're able to kill the wall and hit them with the death blow. Or if they they don't have any ads, you're just spamming death blow every second it's up, because it is doing that nice big chunking damage. And then upheaval, you only want to be using one, when your fury is at maximum, and two, when it is at 10 stacks. You just gotta remember that, and that's pretty much all it is to those. And that's pretty much it for explaining the build. I know it took a little bit long, but I felt like it is necessary to explain all that, just so that you know how everything's working. Obviously, I explained the basic of the build at the very beginning, and I kind of got more and more down into it as it went on. If you guys like this format, just let me know. I'm gonna
not ready yet. Ready yet. Next one. Ready yet.
Now I know it's a little basic, but we do also have a pros and cons list. It's just, very simple. So obviously the pros are it has good sustained damage. Obviously it's a little bit more cone oriented, but the damage is definitely there. Excels the open world, as you saw. In the clips, the death blow is incredibly good at just wiping out anything that is non-elite, and it still does a lot of damage to elites. Definitely a boss killer, even more so if there are ads or walls, and it is definitely fun to play. It feels more challenging and also does increase your damage a little bit. Obviously, We don't know the exact numbers on that, but I do feel like I am doing more damage than when I was using the Whirlwind. Obviously, with them possibly going to be nerfing the Whirlwind, this is a safe backup to have if you want to have something in your repertoire to, back up to if Whirlwind gets nerfed into the ground. Obviously, we're also going to cover the cons because there are cons to every build. The main one is that there is only one level of protection. You have your Iron Will, and that is it. Any AoE focus, so it's, we have lots of focus on the AoE, so any single target can feel slow when you're trying to take down enemies. And obviously I had to include this, but you probably will get carpal tunnel playing this build. That's very common with a lot of Diablo builds, because there's going to be a lot of clicking. But specifically with this one, because you're using your basic attack so much, you might actually get carpal tunnel. So I will recommend that is a con. I will tell you that straight up. And obviously the final con that I could think off the top of my head was ground effects can be lethal. There's a lot of builds where, you kind of can just ignore the ground effects. This is not one of those builds. You got to be paying attention. It's obviously more skill based. You're trading off a lot of your self-defense for a lot of damage. So, you just got to pay a little bit more attention. But, obviously it can kind of feel a bit cheaty in situations where the enemies have a lot of AoE effects. You just gotta play safe, you gotta play smart, you gotta pull them back to rooms you've already cleared. There's a lot of tactics you can use, you just gotta play smart, that's all. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I hope I will see you all in Diablo 4, and I hope to see you playing whatever builds you want to play. Obviously, you don't need to be playing my build, you don't need to be playing Whirlwind. You can play whatever you want. You want to play with only shouts? Go for it. I don't care. We're all here to have fun. And obviously, if you want to min-max it, tell me if there's some things that you want to change around to improve on it. But besides that, I will see you all in Diablo 4. And I hope you all happy demon hunting. In any case, thank you for watching the video. If you guys like it, just leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any builds you want me to try, if you have anything in mind, any changes, any suggestions, legendaries, stuff like that, just let me know. And obviously, I'm very open to suggestions. I'm by no mean a absolute, S-tier expert on everything, but so it's I want this to be much more of a community thing, everyone just kind of sharing everything. So I just want to share my own build, and so I just want to hear from you guys if this is something all of you are interested in, or if it is not. But anyways, I will obviously be looking and experimenting with more builds in the future. I will let you guys know if this build is good in the future or not. If obviously I'll get a second part out there once I max out to 100 and I have all the legendaries kind of understood, unlocked, all that fun stuff, as Diablo goes, and we will see what happens. But until then, I will see you all in the future. Adios.